good evening, and welcome to Conversations with Entrepreneurs. I am your host, Alicia Brown with Mahogany Productions. And I'm joined again tonight with my co-host. Let's start with you tonight, Julie.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julie Logan, J. Logan Business Support Services and Popcorn Heaven.
Chanel.
Hey, it's Chanel here with Moonglade Travel. Happy to be here.
And Jeff.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff White Fitness Solutions. Happy to be here again with all these fantastic people.
All right, guys. So Chanel reminded us that May is Small Business Month. So tonight we want to hit some hot topics on just little different things that small business owners tend to encounter. It can be anything from the clientele services to different questions that people ask or just to support issues in general. So Chanel, I'm gonna let you get started because you deal with the travel industry. And so that should be a very interesting process for you.
Absolutely. So, Small Business Month, I think, is a time for us, obviously, to celebrate and promote entrepreneurship and small businesses and also support small businesses. So, for this month, I would just say I'll share a couple of challenges that I would say, just in general, I think small businesses have. One, I would say top of mind is funding or financing. I hear a lot of entrepreneurs, they have this creative and innovative idea, but it's that seed funding or, having that angel funding or just funding period, whether it's family, friends, or loans to get started or even take their business to the next level. So I hear that often as far as, a challenge. Another thing is just, especially us solopreneurs who are doing it all and wearing so many hats. We're trying to be the accountant and the tax person and the marketing person and the sales person and all of that. So I hear that as a challenge, just trying to balance it all and wear so many hats. And then we talked about this last week about being mompreneurs, balancing it all when you have, you're still working your 9 to 5 or your day job and you have a family or other things that you have or are responsible on, just kind of finding that balance and act are things that I would say that are challenges for small businesses. But one that we recently talked about, and I don't know if it's just really identifying and targeting your ideal audience or really expressing the true value that you bring to a client. But oftentimes, and I think some of us can relate here as well, when you have people who are asking for discounts or do not see or value the value that you bring as an entrepreneur or a small business. I think, Jeff, you shared a graphic earlier this week that had an image of, say, your $500 client and how they were asking so many questions and really kind of beating around the bush to pay you for your fees or your services that you're going to provide. But then you had a $50,000 client and it was no questions asked. The money was sent, they paid an invoice and was ready to get started utilizing your service. And to me, that just looks like, once again, are you really getting in front of your ideal customer? The ones that are not going to ask questions, the one who are truly seeking out your services and your expertise, that are not going to, nickel and dime you and are going to pay, your full asking price without question? Or do you need to do a better job really showing the value proposition or explaining the resources and the values of the services that you're providing? So that way you're educating some of the clients that may not be in your ideal target. So once again, I think those are just some challenges that we face as small businesses.
Thanks, Chanel. Jeff?
Chanel is so polished. I wish I was that polished because I just cut right to the chase. Some people are just too cheap and it's very aggravating. See, Chanel, I don't know how Chanel does it, but she's so eloquent with it. And it doesn't hurt when she says it, but she says the same thing. Did you go to school for that, or you just have a gift?
Thank you, Jeff. You said it ever so nicely. They're cheap. Just cheap. We'll go that way.
But no, for me personally, it's so frustrating because I've dealt with people who will nickel and dime me, and I just it's very difficult for a small business owner because first off, we have bills to pay too. would you ask for these same discounts from our quote unquote competitors who may be more established? If you would not, then don't ask me for those discounts. If It's so funny because on one hand, people say support small businesses, support Black businesses, etc. But then a couple sentences later, they're like, okay, can you give me a hookup? Well, my bills don't accept hookups. I have to get paid too. We ask you to pay for the services that we are providing, plain and simple. Now, as a business owner, it's critical that I give you quality goods and services also. So we cannot have it both ways. I cannot expect you to support me because of fill in the blank, whatever reason, and then I give you quality. At the same time, if you're going to support me, accept my price, and we can work from there. So I think it's just a very tricky situation. Then at the same time, I have to ask, do you respect me as a business owner? Do you respect me? Do you respect my business? If you think I am worth the time, let's compensate me accordingly. So I think it's a real tricky situation, but at the same time, don't disrespect your business owners. Pay them what they are asking, and at the same time, we must do exactly what we're supposed to do and give you the quality goods and service that you require. And I can speak honestly. I've worked as a financial advisor, as a personal trainer, as a ghostwriter, as an editor, and every single time I've had people who want to undercut my price and ask for cheaper than what I'm offering. And unfortunately, that does not help me as a business owner. And then at the same time, my biggest complainers are the ones who want to spend the least amount of money. And I know a lot of business owners, they are shaking their head and they're agreeing with me. But unfortunately, this is something that's just not discussed. And I'm not as eloquent as Chanel. I apologize, but it needs to stop. It really does. You're not helping us. You're hurting the business. And it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, I already know how this person's going to act. I don't even want to work with you. I can't even do it. I'm gonna have to turn down your money because it's not worth my time. And a lot of business owners may be thinking that, but they just won't say it. But it's something that needs to be discussed. Don't nickel and dime people who are trying to provide a service for you, because we have bills to pay too. And this is our job. This is our livelihood. Like I said before, our bills don't accept, IOUs and, hookups and, discounts. We still got to pay car notes. We still got to pay gas just like you do. So you have to respect us and our business, please.
Okay, Julie?
I agree 1000%. And even more so for a brand new business with a product. OMG. When you have a product in a new business, it's almost like sometimes people they try to guilt you, right, into giving them a product because you are new. And so I've had that experience with my newest venture, that because they know that I'm new, they'll come in and ask for, free stuff, or can I get a taste test, this and that. Well, even your taste test costs. Even if I give you a sample, that's product that, it costs me to make that product in order for you to taste test. Now, I do want, customers to get the experience, but when you have people who come in there and want to taste test everything, I had to really limit the number of samples that I'm able to give out, because then by the time you taste a lot of samples, right, you could have been bought a bag of the product, which would have helped my business, right? My sales would grow.
Now they're full.
And now they're full. Exactly.
Now they want a couple.
I'm sorry? What did you say, Jeff?
I said, now they want a cup of water and a napkin. Thank you. And now they're out the door.
And believe me, that has happened. Oh, it'd be nice now that I've sampled your product. It'd be nice to have some water or a soda. But now that I have a soda machine or a cooler in there, nobody's buying sodas. so so I get it. I get it. You know, it's when you really want to truly support a business, a small business, please really try to do just that, because like Jeff said, it takes money for us to provide the product and or service that you're looking for. Same thing with services. When you're providing a service to someone, is, you know, someone really wants to pay you this flat rate, but then they want your responsibilities to be 10,000 accountabilities that you got that don't equate to what they're paying you. So it's almost like you got to have your checks and balances. And so I would say to a new entrepreneur, really think about your service offerings. Be very clear and to the point about what you're offering, and stand firm in that. Once you've done your research on your company and your business, you should already know what it takes to build that business, and what it will take for the gross sales or whatever it is. Stand firm in that, and don't let, like Jeff said, cheap people guilt trip you into changing your prices, your fees, and or your prices for your product and or service.
I agree. I think between all of us, it's like I'm on the flip side of that with my production company, right? So once people find out there's a production company out there, they've set a budget, and you get all these vendors coming at you every which way, trying to stay within the budget, trying to see if they can nudge your budget, and I can get you this if you could, up it a few more $1,000 or different things. So then that skill of negotiating is important, but sometimes not as great as you thought it was when you have it. So it is always these different ways or experiences that we have as business owners, and having to deal with vendors. I think is just as bad sometimes as just dealing with customers, because they're wanting to negotiate one thing to get the business, and then try to change things, so then you agree to work with them. So that's the different side of that I experienced. But Jeff, you're right. It's like there are a lot of people out there that have different businesses or have started their businesses lately, and that's a struggle that they have. People wanting them to, give them breaks on their pricing and so forth, and it becomes a struggle, especially for some Black business people. It is a constant struggle in our communities, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've gone to events where I have my books and I sell my books, and I've had people, and I learned this the hard way again. And I have a table full of books, and then I have people say, well, I'll buy X amount of books for this amount of price. And for me, I'm happy just to get the product out there. And so I would do that. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I made a profit of $13, and that's it. And I done sold all these books, but I sold them at a break-even price, or slightly under, trying to get them out there because I'm so, just trying to get my name out there. It's like, well, wait a minute. I didn't make enough to buy more books. So, it's a fine line that every entrepreneur is going to have to face. And you're going to have to be like, I'm sorry, this is the price. And this is what we're going to have to do, and that's it. And it's sad to say that you have to have this conversation, but you do, because if you're not careful, you will be out of business because you just aren't selling at a profit. We are not nonprofits. We are trying to make a profit. Now, again, the key is quality, excellent service, and high quality product. And as a consumer, we expect you to want to pay for that. But unfortunately, a lot of people want things for free. And I remember working in retail, and Alita, you can probably remember this too, when we worked together many years ago, customers would complain about everything. If we worked with magazines, if a magazine was a day late, oh my goodness, they will call us and demand a refund or free issues. And at some point you just have to be able to tell people no, because we have that phrase out there, the customer's always right. Well, the customer's not always right. And unfortunately, people are afraid to say that because they think it can hurt their business. But at the same time, some people take advantage of that. But at the end of the day, it only hurts you as the business owner. So we got to be real careful with that. It's just a fine line that you really have to be aware of.
True, I agree. Chanel, you going to say something?
I think that's a great point, Jeff. I think as a business owner, also just having your, what do they call it, cover your CYA. You got to have your terms and conditions, your contracts, your agreements, all of that in process. Like you said, you are a business. You're running a reputable, real live business. So making sure that you have those things in place, your business is set up appropriately. You have all of those processes, agreements, and conditions in place to cover your business and yourself. And then even just ironing out those expectations with a new potential customers, specifically talking to those of us in the service industry. I'm not selling a product, it's a service. So before I even accept a payment from a client, we set those clear expectations of this is what is expected for me and this is what is expected from you. So that way at the end of the day, we both are held accountable and know what we're getting into. And the same goes for partners. If you're trying to bring on different partners and collaborations, having those type of things in place to cover everyone and kind of set those expectations and boundaries, I think is very critical.
Julie, like, do you have your pricing and everything basically laid out for people as they come into the door? Do they still try to negotiate your prices?
Was that for me?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. They'll come in and be like, why is it so high? Really? I think it's the most affordable, product that's out there. And plus, my corporate team have already set the trend on what the prices are and what will work. But I haven't changed the prices. They stay the same. But one thing I wanted to mention too to new entrepreneurs is, if you have a website about your business, reviews can be good, good and bad, because you're not going to get it right 100% of the time. But you don't want the negative outweighing the positive though. So I would say be prepared for that, because you can't make everybody happy. But yeah, just be prepared for the reviews.
I'm going to chime in again on something, Jeff, you spoke about. I think it goes both ways. I think we, as a small business, definitely expect more from clients or potential clients, as far as them not coming to us and expecting discounts or subpar service. But then also, as small business owners, we need to deliver. We need to deliver that, expert level of service, specifically customer service, and do what we said we're going to do it and how we said we're going to do it too. So I think it goes both ways. And I don't know if that's where some of it stems from, where folks, those cheapies, are coming to us expecting, discounts. Maybe they've had bad experiences previously, so their expectation of the bar is maybe not as high. So that's maybe where it stems from. I don't know. I try to be naive to some of it, but once again, it's both ways. We definitely have to set the bar high and deliver exactly what we're saying we're going to deliver.
I agree with that. Yeah.
No, Chanel's absolutely right. Again, she says it so politely. I'm just going to put it out there like this. Sometimes customers will look at a business owner or a business, and maybe their expectations are decreased because of who is the owner of the business, and they react accordingly. Whereas if that exact identical business is owned by someone else, and I'll just leave someone else open to your imagination, they don't haggle like that anymore. They are fine with the price. They have no questions. But that exact same business has a different face on the front of it, everything changes, and their whole demeanor and expectation changes, even though it's the exact same business. And I ask customers to ask themselves, do you do that? Do you see a business owned by a certain person who might look a certain way or talk a certain way or is from a certain area? And do you automatically decrease your expectation of the quality of the service and of the experience of that business because of whatever you want to decide it to be? But if someone else owned that business, you don't have that same thought in your mind. If you do, you might need to check yourself, because all you're doing is you're reinforcing negative stereotypes and beliefs that not only hurt you yourself, but also hurts that business. And they just keep getting reinforced and manifested. And all it does is hurt you. I use myself as a personal example. When I was a financial advisor, we used to cold call people. And I had more clients who did not look like me, who would work with me with a lot more money than clients who looked like me. They would give me a fraction of the money, but 10 times the problems. And they questioned every single thing I did. They questioned everything I suggested and referred to them as if I didn't know what I was talking about. Whereas some of my other clients who did not look like me, they were like, I really like that idea. That's a great idea. Let's do it. I take the exact same idea to other people who look like me, and they're like, I don't know about that. Are you sure? And so I've seen it over and over and over. Are you questioning me and my ability as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or are you questioning the business itself? Which one is it? So sometimes it's a real subtle thing that's going on in people's mind that they have to really think about and check itself. Because if you're looking at me and you think I'm a quality business owner, how are we going to elevate? How are we going to get better and grow and cultivate these businesses if you have this idea already in the back of your mind that it's not going to be as good as someone else? I tried to keep it as nice as I could as Chanel, but it's really hard. I'm sorry, Chanel, I just can't do this.
That was really, really well, Jeff. You did a great job.
I'm gonna go back to you. So when you were saying too, because there are a lot of authors out there, and so a lot of people self-published authors, and that's what their entrepreneurship is. They're self-published authors, and that's another issue. You'll find a lot of people even now, like I just don't even bother to post anything about my books on Facebook anymore because I get so many friends and family members instant messages sending me messages and messages. Can you mail me a copy? Not can I buy a copy, but can you mail me a copy? I was like, I didn't get picked up by the big old publishing company and nothing. I'm doing this stuff on my own, but it's the same thing. They want the freebies. They don't, they think asking for a free copy is supporting you, and that's not the route that self-published authors need to go through. So that's another thing to look at too, because a lot of people don't see that self-published authors are entrepreneurs. Jeff?
My thing is to just allow the entrepreneur, the owner, decide when they want to give a freebie, because we're looking at our numbers. We know that what we can afford to give away at a certain time or whatever. Don't try to dictate that for us. Allow us the opportunity to be able to provide free product at our service.
You were going to say something, Jeff?
Yeah, two things. First off, I guess we have to let people know that we're not talking about everyone who does this. We have to say that, because someone will say, you can't be talking about me because I don't do that. No, we're not talking about you. We're talking about a specific person or type of person who actually does do that. I have many, many people who have been very supportive, who have, supported my business 100%, including the people on this panel. So I'm definitely not talking about, people like that. We're talking about a specific type of person who is trying to nickel and dime you. Not everyone does that, and we want to make sure you understand that. It's just, we're talking about a certain specific group of individuals who do something like that. Now, as far as your books, Alethea, I agree. And just as an author tip, this is why I don't sell my books myself personally and ship them out. because of that very reason, because if the book is late or if it's damaged, then they're going to be very angry at you and want you to give them a refund or whatever. So I send everyone to Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't like Amazon, but I send them to Amazon. You pay at Amazon, Amazon's gonna ship it, and it's out of my hands.
Yep.
And if you want to haggle with Amazon, feel free, but I don't think it's gonna work. So that's how I handle that. Set price, deal with them as far as that price, and then it's out of my hands. Either you like the price or you don't, and that's okay.
That's the exact same thing that I do, just to avoid all that. It's like the link is there, and if you know my name, if you want to find it, just know my name, type it in Google, something's gonna pop up. So it's the initiative. So if somebody's really interested in the services or whatever you're off, they're gonna take the time to research it, take the initiative to go and support your business the right way, and not walk through the door with expectations of anything other than to make a purchase of some sort or participate in, a type of initiative or program that you're doing. But we all know Chanel has the best customer service. He does. Moonglade Travel has the best customer service.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I bet she don't top Popcorn Heaven.
I probably don't.
But
Look.
when you leave Popcorn Heaven, your taste buds will be in Popcorn Heaven.
Is that on your MySpace, Julie?
Do you rehearse that in the mirror? You have to. You just made that up off the top of your head. See,
I would never tell.
that means I practice. She is an actress, people. Just to let you know.
Stop it. But it's true, people. When you leave Popcorn Heaven, it's such a tasty treat. You will be excited. You will leave with a smile.
How are we gonna leave Popcorn Heaven? We don't know where it is. Where's it at?
It's in the South Point Shopping Village in South Charlotte, in Steel Creek area, 10720 South Tryon Street, Suite C, in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And she has our Facebook page for the same, Popcorn Heaven Steel Creek, correct?
Absolutely. And on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And if you want the best travel services possible, you can also find Chanel at Moonglade Travel on Facebook. Tell them what they need to know, Chanel.
Absolutely. Moongladetravel.com. We are Moonglade Travel on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you, Alethea.
She will have
Hey,
you
Chanel.
mesmerized by the dreamy vacations that she show in the videos that we live vicariously through her travels.
Hey, Chanel, what's the #1 travel destination you have from people lately? Where are people asking about the most?
It's a combination or a tie between Hawaii and a Caribbean destination. So I do a lot of Jamaica, Cancun. I actually have Bermuda, some clients going to Bermuda next week. But Hawaii is topping it off lately too, which is surprising because they have very strict entry requirements and protocol due to COVID. But it's very popular. A lot of people, especially if you don't have a passport or you haven't renewed your passport, passports are taking a long time to come back. So we're looking at a lot of domestic destinations as well. So Hawaii is topping out right now.
We are looking forward to going to that restaurant that you referred us to, that we're sitting in the water when we get to Aruba. So Tati's all ready, and then I got to share you the dress that she picked out to wear with it. So we're excited about making that trip. And
y'all gonna have fun. That's gonna be a fun trip.
Let me out. I'm gonna need a vacation from the vacation.
Right.
Vacation from the vacation. So yeah, so this is, there's so many different things that we can do to support businesses. And the one thing that we really try to focus on is just letting everybody know, one, these are the ups and downs of being a business owner. Two, these are the things that you can encounter as a business owner. And three, here's some motivation and inspiration to just decide to take that leap of faith and be an entrepreneur, own your own business. There is no greater freedom than you can experience when you take that leap of faith. And you're just wondering, like, why did it take me so long to do it? But you will enjoy it. There's ups and downs, but there are resources out there, and we trust that you will consider us a resource as well. If you're just now starting to become an entrepreneur. Jeff?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. And we have to remember that as business owners, there are going to be topics that are very uncomfortable for business owners to discuss, especially in public like this. A lot of things are said behind the scenes, and this may be one of them, but at some point, sometimes you just got to talk about it. And everyone has to see everybody's side. The customer wants to hook up, they want the discount, and I totally understand that. If you're on a budget and you're trying to stretch your money and you still want to, try to support someone, or you want the best bang for your buck, I totally get it. But at the same time, there is a law of diminishing returns that's going to be involved. And you have to also look at it from the business owner side too. We are trying to survive and thrive our business and make it grow. And for new entrepreneurs, this is a conversation that you need to have. And this is something you will experience at least 45, 50, 60, 70 times in your life as you deal with customers. It's the reality of business, and you're going to have to find that fine line between telling someone no and maybe working out some type of deal, maybe not. But at some point, you're going to have to turn some business down if you want to stay in business.
And we definitely have to trust that because, Jeff, you have the classes to help entrepreneurs get through the process. So tell them about your school and where they can find your programs.
Oh yeah, I have classes, online courses on business and entrepreneurship. I have a course for kids. I have a course on generating passive income. I have a course on the mind of an entrepreneur, which is very important because being an entrepreneur is a different mindset. Everyone up here we have the entrepreneur mindset. And if you don't have that mindset, you will have a lot of trouble in your business, especially in the beginning. So you can see all of that on my website, www.yeswedid.info.
We'll make sure we get that. So this week, we're going to be sharing everybody's link to the website, so in the Conversation with Entrepreneurs. So you can go there, look at it, different information, find out about Jeff's classes that he's given, Julie and her popcorn heaven, and Chanel, like she's saying, is, last week was travel industry week, tourism week. And so now that things are starting to open up, Chanel is definitely a go-to person that you want to look for to finally just get that vacation in if you're ready to start traveling. As more people are becoming vaccinated. I know I got my first shot already, so I'm waiting to take my second one. So wasn't that bad. I just had a sore shoulder for about 24 hours, but other than that, it was okay. So I'm comfortable with it.
I want to say too, as business owners, what I love about this show and about this group is that, Jeff said it best, is that there are topics that's going to be uncomfortable and we have to talk about it. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'd wish there are some things that someone had told me early on when I first started my first business. I wish this group existed when I first started my business so that I could, know the ups and downs, the ins and outs of starting a business. And so we hope that everybody that's listening will please take that to heart, that entrepreneur is hard, but it's also rewarding. And when you can be honest about it and really hear, get that constructive feedback, that's going to just help us all to grow. I also wanted to be able to share some additional resources. There's an organization here in Charlotte, North Carolina, called the Women Business Center of Charlotte that offers a lot of tools and resources for women entrepreneurs to tap into. There's all types of training, some free, some that may cost at a minimum. But I would say, to look out at their website at the www.theinstitutenc.org and go to their events calendar. And there's all kinds of information on their social media, Facebook and Instagram, that shares information about funding, restaurant revitalization. I can't say that straight. And then there's how to produce Google ads, financial resiliencies, those type of resources that you would never hear about. And we have a resource right here in the Carolinas that offers that, that for women business owners,
Yeah.
or for anyone actually.
Got a question for you, Julie. I know there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there that choose not to or scared to take that leap of faith because of their credit scores, not feeling that they're going to be able to qualify. Do they have programs? Because I've been seeing on Facebook, there have been some programs that's been coming up to help business owners repair their credit so that they'll be eligible for funding.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of resources that they have. They even have one that's called um, Business Plan 101. And all of that information is create your business sway, is what they call it. There's one on, like I mentioned, the financial resiliency, understanding your business tax structure too. So yes, absolutely. There is information out there on credit, getting funding, your taxes, how to report, how to start a business, the whole nine.
Yeah, so we'll definitely share that link too, and keep everybody as informed as we can. And within a matter of months, we may be launching some of our own classes once we start getting our sites prepared. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. Who wants to start with last words? Chanel looks like she's ready to say it.
I just looked ready, didn't I? I was just ready to go. Good. Julie, I'm going to piggyback on those resources just real quick. I know we always talk about, one woman, one man shows and solopreneurs and us doing it all, but those are resources. We don't all have the capital to hire, web designer or marketing expert or accountant, especially a startup. So I get that. I totally do. So those type of resources, we talked about being lifelong learners and always learning and growing. Those are opportunities for you to learn something new that you can implement into your business as well until you're able to kind of offset some costs and hire somebody. So I think that was a great segue. But for me, businesses, being an entrepreneur, a small business owner, it's like a roller coaster. It's ups and downs. Like you said, some days are better than others. But at the end of the day, remember why you started. Remember why you do it. Stay focused on your purpose, your goal, and your why, and everything else will come.
I agree. Jeff?
Yeah, I kind of talked about the customer and, that aspect of it. I want to talk strictly to the business owner at this point. If you agree to do a job or service for someone, do it, period. Do it 100%. Even if you charged a lower price than you would like, you're not happy about that price, pretend like they paid you the most you ever got paid to do a job. You know why? Because money's involved now. They paid you, they're expecting quality service. Even if you're not happy, do it. Don't half it. Don't do that. Don't procrastinate the job. Don't drag it out. Don't give a poor quality because you don't like the customer because they didn't pay you enough. That's poor business practices and poor business habits. You don't want to get into that, and say, oh, they didn't pay me enough, so I'm only going to, give them X amount. No, they pay you to do a job. Stay professional at all times, whether you like them or not, whether they paid you a lot or not. If they paid you to do a job, you do it, because what you want to do, you want to build that work ethic. Build you a solid work ethic. Not to mention, if you do a good job, no matter how much you pay, they're going to refer someone to you. So you got to remember that. So you got to always remember, always stay professional, always complete projects on time, always do 100%, no matter how much they paid you, because once that money has been exchanged, do your job. This is why so many customers, they want to nickel and dime, and because they're not happy and they don't trust you, because they've had bad experiences too. They don't know you. So it's up to you to change that perception. We can do that one entrepreneur at a time.
Julie?
And if I may add too to that, even when you're transitioning from, let's say, if you're in corporate America and you're transitioning into entrepreneurship, don't burn your bridges. keep those relationships, because I guarantee you those relationships that you created and grew with while you were working a full-time job will pay off when you transition into entrepreneurship. And I'll end with this. When you think about buying, buy big, think small, support small businesses.
I agree. Thank you, Julie. I think the biggest thing I would say is for the amount of time that we're willing to commit to a corporate position, why would we not give that same amount of time and detail into our own business until we can become dependent on our own financial resources that we create? So if you're jumping out there just to say, I jumped out there, it's going to fall somewhere down the line because you didn't structure it enough to do it. So the same way you learned your job, you structured yourself, you got organized, you showed up every day at the same time, you managed your work. That's the exact same way you should be owning your own business. You should be more dedicated to how you're generating income on your own as you were working for someone else. And it's time consuming. Yes, it is. Yeah, you're going to have, some long days trying to get things, but it pays off within itself. Like Julie said, when you get the chance that you can walk away from corporate America and you got things ready for you, that's the difference. There's nothing more rewarding than that. I can tell you. I've met a lot of women and men who said that it's like they can't believe it took them so long to do it. So when you make that decision, don't do things that'll make you regret it because you didn't structure yourself. You didn't reach out to people, not necessarily people in your current circle, people outside of that circle that are going to be more honest with you than like, girl, yeah, you got that, girl. That looks right. You know what? There was 2 sleeves missing on that shirt, but it looks good. So you don't want to do that. But you got to find a different circle when you're taking that leap. And it's just that leap of faith. You started, don't throw things away too fast. But when you get started, look at there, find your resources, like-minded people, like-minded people. And so with that, we will say thank you for joining us again this week. We look forward to having you join the conversations again in another week.